What's going on, guys? So in this video we're discussing legendary summer fragrances. That's right, I said legendary. These are summer classics, just all-time hits of yesteryear that in my opinion still go hard to this day, for lack of a better term. You know, some most look at them as a little dated, but I like looking at them as well respected and very familiar by many. So I've got 5 of those. We narrowed it down to just 5. I want to talk to you about them, so stay tuned. Starting with the newest as far as release year of the 5 in this video, this fragrance is so synonymous with summer. It's in many fragrance channels and fragrance influencers and fragrance reviewers all across social media. This is usually in their list when it comes to just fragrances to reach for the warm weather for summer, because it's got legendary status at this point. We're talking about Versace Man Eau Fraiche. You just can't go wrong with this fragrance. Beautiful, fresh, slightly sour star fruit, the unique star fruit that is most famously known in this fragrance, with some other citruses. Beautiful, fresh, aquatic, a little bit of spice, fresh spice of course, some clean musk. It's watery, very attractive to others, super mass appealing. This one will definitely pull a compliment from time to time. Not the best performer in the world, as is the case with pretty much every fragrance in this video, because they're just on that next level when it comes to light, airy, and fresh. And most of the time when you get this light, this airy, and this fresh, you're going to sacrifice some performance for the freshness. And that's definitely the case with Versace Man Eau Fraiche. Though labeled as an Eau Fraiche, it is not an Eau Fraiche concentration. It is an Eau de Toilette concentration, because if it was an Eau Fraiche, it would only last maybe an hour. Here, I tend to get in the 4 to 5 hour range, which for the scent profile actually does just fine. You can find this at a very affordable price point depending on bottle size from most discounters online. And like I said, when in doubt, you can always rock this during the summer. It's one of the legends of the season, Versace Man Eau Fraiche. Next, this is a rebuy, a legend. It came out in 2003. Shook up men's designer fragrances for years. This is almost a rite of passage type of fragrance. Everybody, not literally everybody, but just about everybody, has had at least a sample of this at some point in their life. We're talking about the original Ralph Lauren Polo Blue, the Eau de Toilette. This is still great in my opinion to this day. Of course, you're not getting tons of performance. It was a rebuy. It actually came in today. This fragrance is the reason for this video topic in the first place. It's been on my hand for about 4 hours now, and I can still smell it. It's not strong by any means, and it's smelling like it's going to be fading away pretty soon, but most people seem to experience in the 2 to 3 hour range. For me, it's seeming like more so the 3 to 4, maybe 5 hours if I'm lucky. If I was to spray my shirt, I'm sure I would get about 5 hours, but it still smells great, guys. That beautiful, watery, fresh cucumber note. It's a little aquatic and blue, fresh type of fragrance with a fresh green appeal to it at the same time. A little bit of woods in the backdrop. It's nothing complex. It's nothing crazy, but it's one of the most replicated fragrances of all time. This was replicated like Creed Aventus gets replicated, you know, but almost 20 years ago is when this came out. And it's iconic. It's definitely a legend at this point, and it's spawned many of great flankers that stay true to the DNA of the original. I love when a flanker takes an original's DNA and just twists it a little bit. That is a true flanker. So I'm a fan of the line, as are most people, even though a lot of people really won't wear this one that often these days. If you're from my generation, this is an iconic, legendary, fresh fragrance for the summertime, and to this day, I don't think you can go wrong with it. It's been a few years since I had it. Super happy to have it back in the collection. That is the original Ralph Lauren Polo Blue. Speaking of fragrances that spawned a ton of great flankers, this in itself was originally a flanker to the famed Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. Of course, we're talking about Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Pour Homme. This fragrance has been around almost as long as Polo Blue. A little bit different on the scent profile though. Here you still get that beautiful airy freshness, citrus, but there's a little bit of pepper and incense to give a spicy, dark, smoky nuance to it that really adds some depth to the fragrance. This is one of the all-time greats in pulling in compliments from the ladies for guys. That's why they've sold so many bottles of this, because ladies like the way this smells on a guy, even to this day. Not dated, not old. You can never go wrong with Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. Anybody that's ever had a bottle over the years probably keeps, like I do with this 40 ml, at least a little bottle, at least a few sprays somewhere at some point in the event they want to spray it on. Not a great performer. Another one that's like maybe a 4-5 hour fragrance if you're lucky. They have a ton of great flankers that perform better, that kind of take the DNA and twist it. Light Blue Sun adds more of a solar note, sunscreen type of vibe, but still has the light blue DNA. The O Intense is much more rich, salty sea breeze version of this, and so on and so forth. Light Blue Forever is a nice tart grapefruit addition to this DNA. You get the idea. I'm not going to go through one by one on the flankers, but the original is a legend in its own right. I mean, like I said before, everybody knows this fragrance. Super familiar, and still, here in 2022, a great compliment getter and a great choice for the summertime. When in doubt, you can just spray on Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. A late 90s legend at this point. This is another one. This kind of the theme of the whole video, minus the Versace fragrance, has spawned a ton of very successful flankers. Hell, the last 3 flankers I think were phenomenal in this line, but the king of sharp metallic shower gel fragrances is still Azzaro's Chrome, the original Azzaro's Chrome. And this is probably the best performer in this video. This is a fragrance that is 6+ hours every time I wear it on my skin. That beautiful metallic, sharp smell, aquatic citrus, clean musk. There's a little bit of floral tones here. There's another one, pulls in a nice compliment. Fresh, clean fragrance, never a bad time for Azzaro Chrome. And like I said, even to this day, with all the formulations I'm sure it's been through, it's still a really good performer and stays true to that original formulation with its scent profile. It does not smell like it has changed barely at all over the years, because regulations change with fragrance oils and stuff, and that's where reformulation comes into play. And for as old as this is, you know, it's been through a few of those, and it still smells just as good as it did back when I was in junior high and high school. It's an all-time great. This stuff is incredible for the summer. Yes, there's a ton of great flankers like the Extreme, Chrome Pure, Chrome Aqua, and so on. Even the new Eau de Parfum stays true to this and smells like a richer version of the original EDT. But as with Light Blue, as with everything in this video, you don't have to get some brand new release to have something that A, you're going to enjoy in the summertime, B, will probably refresh you and cool you off when you're outside doing things in the high heat, sweating your ass off, and C, be very attractive to those around you because it just smells great. Every fragrance in this video does that, and kind of the poster child for it is fragrances like Azzaro Chrome. And speaking of poster children for this video topic, the most legendary of them all, to this day, still the #1 selling men's fragrance, Acqua di Gio from Giorgio Armani. Yes, it's not as dense and rich and powerful as it once was. I get it. But it still smells great. Every time I wear this fragrance, my wife cannot stop telling me how good I smell in the first minute or so. She goes on and on for a solid minute about how good it smells, because this is so familiar and so attractive to many, many women out there of all ages, of multiple generations at this point. Everybody knows somebody at some point in their life that wore this fragrance as a signature scent. I have childhood friends that are in their late 30s, just like me at this stage, that this is still their signature scent. They have this and this. That's the only 2 fragrances they have, and they both happen to be in this video, because women like the way they smell on guys. That's why they sell so many bottles. Let's call a spade a spade. That's just what it is. This is iconic. It spawned a ton of flankers, even though I personally believe every single flanker that's come out from this fragrance line is better than this fragrance. But it doesn't shortchange the legendary status of this fragrance, how it changed men's fragrances as a whole in the direction that it went from the early to mid 90s to this point in 2022. It's still super relevant to this day. Like I said, though I do believe you're better off getting so many others. Get a bottle of Profumo. Hell, get Profondo. It's the modern take on this. It's a much more blue aquatic than this. Yes, it's fresh and aquatic and citrus, but it's more of a fresh green fragrance than it actually is aquatic, whereas Profondo's like that aquatic, you know, marine type of vibe to this fragrance, and it performs a lot better. But you can never go wrong with this. Anytime you spray it, you're not going to have a bad experience, at least in my personal experience. You won't have a bad experience. You're probably going to draw in a compliment or two probably every time you wear it, because like I said, it's so beloved and so familiar to millions of people at this point. This is the most legendary of them all when it comes to summer fragrances. It's Giorgio Armani, Acqua di Gio, Polo. Well, that's the 5 that, in my personal opinion, are as iconic as they come when it comes to men's summer fragrances. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Now, depending on your era, your generation, your childhood, when, you know, what decade you were a teenager, your 5 may vary. Cool water may fall in there for some of you guys. And you know, there's a few that are interchangeable in my opinion. Absolutely. This is just the 5 that in my lifetime experience, I deem the most iconic for summer, the most legendary, and you can never, for as long as you live, in my opinion, go wrong in the summertime with one of these 5 fragrances. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these 5, if you don't have them already, you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.